Hey guys, it's Dave Kurt. I'm the broker of record with Lake City Realty, a local Sudbury real estate company. And you're watching today because you're wondering what are the three biggest surprises on the cost that's going to shock you when you move to Sudbury, Ontario, or if you're living here in Sudbury, Ontario. Man, oh man, I've got a lot of my clients, especially lately since COVID hit and work from home has sent a lot of people, given them the chance to live and work remotely from their office. We've got a ton of buyers that are coming to Sudbury, and I hear three big shocks from all of them that I'm going to go over today. I'm going to review those one by one, and I'm also going to detail on how we measure up versus some of the places that border us to the south, as well as in Northern Ontario. So I'm so thrilled that you're following us on this journey today, and I'm looking forward to sharing some wealth of knowledge with you. Also, I do a ton of these videos, so feel free to below with my channel, like, subscribe, share it, and if you hit that little bell for notifications, every time we release a video, you'll be notified right away. So today, I want to chat about the three biggest surprise costs on moving and living in Sudbury, Ontario. Well, the first one is going to be easy for anybody that lives in Sudbury. If you're just coming to Sudbury, this is going to be the number one surprise that I hear from every one of my clients that move here. It's the taxes. Man, oh man, are we ever get taxed at quite a big rate. Our average price for a house in Sudbury right now is around $350,000. And what that works out to on a municipal tax level right now, $5,100 in taxes on a $350,000 house. $5,000 in taxes. That's almost equal to $1 million house in Toronto. That tax rate actually puts us at the top 90% of tax rates in all of Ontario for cities over $100,000. Now, why are the taxes so much? Well, we're a city with older infrastructure. We don't have the population like they do in Southern Ontario, and we're spread out. We're so far away. There's no grid pattern in Sudbury. We got to blast our way through rocks and around mines to be able to get from point A to point B. So that's going to be one of the biggest reasons there. But taxes are the number one thing that I get surprised by with clients moving to Sudbury. Now, is there an option to get a little bit lower taxes? If you move just outside of the city of Sudbury, in those areas, usually they'll have volunteer fire departments, and the taxes would be slightly different. I know if you move outside of the city of Sudbury to a place like Lively or the Valley, your taxes are going to go from about $5,100 to about $4,700 based on that volunteer fire department. So taxes, again, are going to be the number one thing that surprise people when moving to Sudbury. Expect that to be quite a bit higher. What's the number two reason that people are surprised by with their costs in Sudbury? Well, that's going to be the water wastewater. Man, oh man, does the city ever get us with some high water wastewater prices? And again, we have older infrastructure. We don't have the population like they do in Southern Ontario. So there's a reason that these numbers are so high. But how much is it to have a bathtub? I've been told roughly it's about $2 to have a bathtub at your house. That if your wife takes a lot of baths, or if you take a lot of baths, just expect that to be quite a high cost to be budgeting in. The other interesting part of that as well is there's a lot of, like, if you're an investor and looking to buy here, there's a lot of costs that would end up on the tenants. And like if you could put the hydro in their name, the gas in their name, and they can even have the water in their name. But if they skip town before they leave you with a water bill, that bill will actually get added to your taxes and put a lien that's put on your property, so that you'll be responsible for that ultimately at the end. I know myself, I've had a few tenants that have stuck me with $1,000+ water bill, so that's another big surprising factor in Sudbury. I took a look at some of the provincial averages for water wastewater, and I think there's only about 3 cities in Sudbury, like Windsor, North Bay, and Sault Ste. Marie, that are higher than our rates. So be prepared for that, especially if you take a lot of showers or baths. What's the third biggest shock with cost moving to Sudbury? Even if you're not going to be buying and paying those big taxes, it's the rent rates in Sudbury. CMHC, which is the Canadian Mortgage and Housing Company, they do an annual report on where things are at with the cost of rent, and they I'll just use an average 2-bedroom apartment in Sudbury as kind of the benchmark rate. An average cost in all of Sudbury for a 2-bedroom apartment is around $1,100. Now, we know that there's better areas and worse areas, and that could be $1,700 or $1,800 or $2,500 in a better area for a newer building, or you could find something in some places like the Donovan or the Flour Mill in Sudbury for maybe $700 or $800. But that's going to be relative to where you're living. But if we take that average of about $1,100 per month for that rental payment, and we compare that with some of the bigger cities, so Kitchener is coming in at 1,200. London's coming in at just over 1,000. Ottawa's only at 1,400, and Toronto's only just over 1,500. So incrementally, it's not much more to live in these big cities as it is in Sudbury. So I find that a lot of people moving here, especially with school, we've got 3 post-secondary educations. If they're coming here for jobs just as a fresh graduate, that's one expense that's going to definitely surprise and shock them. Well, I hope today's video on the 3 biggest surprise costs on moving to Sudbury did you well and was able to give you a little bit of information. Like I said earlier in the video, we're going to be doing a ton of this content moving into the future. And if you're thinking about anything real estate related or housing related, or like what different areas are better than others, and what are the pros and cons on where you live, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. And tune into our YouTube channel. We're going to be releasing content twice on a weekly basis.